Bitcoin is basically a money like any other money. You can spend it on things, you can pay people, except instead of being in physical dollars where you can hold dollar bills, these coins exist on computers, and you hold the coins on your computer. Because it acts very much like gold. You can apply many of the same rules. And so one of the ideas is that you don't need a complex new system of regulations or a complex new law to be able to govern Bitcoin. You can go with the same old property rules and the same old procedure rules that govern other forms of property. So the benefits of competing currencies are the benefits of any kind of competition. You have more suppliers, and so you have lower prices essentially. So for money, that means lower transaction costs, for instance, and you have higher quality. Now, whatever those qualities for money are something to be determined by the market. Maybe privacy is a quality of money that we want, or maybe neutrality as between creditors and debtors is a quality we want. It's essentially allowing the market to satisfy consumer demand. The Legal Tender Act and legal tender laws generally around the world act as a kind of monopoly advantage to central bank currency. The downside of competition is, from the government's perspective, they're no longer able to affect monetary policy in the way that they would like to. Now, many would say that the legal tender laws are necessary and allow the government to conduct monetary policy. So, in a sense, having a monopoly power is good for the government. Now, whether you think this is a good thing or a bad thing is gonna depend on your view of government. Some would have the view that because the government is all of us, we want to confer a sort of monopoly privilege on the government. And some have the view that the federal government, at least, is an entity separate from us and is beholden to all sorts of special interests, and it's subject to all sorts of political pressures that don't necessarily redound to the good of all of society. And so giving them this monopoly is really not great for society writ large. Many think that the real benefit of Bitcoin is going to be in settlement, across borders, and going to be in places in the developing world where they don't have the kind of monetary stability that we have in the US. No one has any doubts that something that cost $1 yesterday is going to cost $1 today. But this is not true in developing countries like Zimbabwe or in places like Argentina, for instance, where they have major currency problems. So these countries are using Bitcoin as a store of value, and they know that it's going to fluctuate less, the price of Bitcoin is going to fluctuate less, and perhaps it might even appreciate more than their own currencies. So in the developed world, many think that Bitcoin plays a tangential role, which is one reason why some people say if you were to repeal legal tender laws with respect to digital currencies, it wouldn't be that big of a deal. But it's really in the developing world and in places that don't have stable political regimes and stable monetary situations that something like Bitcoin, which isn't susceptible to political pressures, is going to be able to thrive.